Yes. Alright, Weebill S Firmware 2.7 was released last week, and I was off on a trip, and while I was there, Zhiyun dropped the new firmware 2.07. And you guys bombarded me with comments and notifications about this firmware, what I thought of it, would I make a video, and yes, of course, now I'm back. So let's take a look at what Zhiyun gave us in this firmware, because there's actually a lot of stuff, and I'll go through all the things that they updated and the things that I can test. So here we go. Alright, so this week we got Black Friday coming up, and I have decided to take 50 spots and put them at 50% for the Gimbal Academy. So you'll be able to join the Gimbal Academy for a very nice price. So if you want me to teach you everything I know about gimbals, now is the time. So on Friday, the discount for those 50 spots will open. I will send out an email to anyone on the email list. So if you're not on that list, go down in the description, find the link, and you get notified as soon as I open up for those 50 spots. Alright, so as I said, firmware 2.07 is out, and we got two gimbals on the table. This one updated with 2.07 and the other one over here with 2.06. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to test especially the first thing that they say that updated, fixed issues that cause the roll axis to deviate when making a turn at fast speed or moving horizontally. So what does this actually mean? I came into the office yesterday to kind of test these things, so let's just roll that so you can see what I thought of it and the comparison between these two gimbals. This is with 2.6 firmware in it, and what we're looking for is the roll motor here to deviate when we move. You see, it moves very steady, and if you move fast, it stays. But I have the parameters set to very slow, so I would say it doesn't move because the parameters are set to slow. If we put it into go and see what happens, you see it moves much more quickly than without, and it actually moves like it should. And if we move horizontally like that, or pan with it, I don't know what they mean with horizontal. The horizontal level is that. So if we move the roll motor horizontally, it should deviate, and I can't see that it does that. This is firmware 2.6, and if we take the other one, which is now on 2.7, it moves very smoothly. It actually looks like there is a bit of a difference. It moves very nicely on this one as well. The settings are the same. The motor settings are a bit higher on this one because I tried to turn them up to see if we got any vibrations. We don't have any vibrations from any of the motors, so I doubled the settings from the auto tune. That's very, very nicely because we don't have any vibrations from any of the motors. I like that. And if we put the gimbal down like this and we move it like that, you see it's not that quickly, but that's because of the settings. If we press go, you can see it moves much more nicely, and it actually moves very, very smoothly. So I really don't see any difference between these two, so I don't really understand what they fixed, but they work nicely with the roll motor actually. And if we move the roll motor like that, you can see, you know, there's nothing. It works like it should, but you never do it like that this fast. If you move like that, you would do it in a POV shot and anything like that. If you take this same gimbal over here, there are no sudden movements that it shouldn't do. So whatever they fixed, it works very nicely. Alright, so as you can see, I really can't see any big difference between 2.07 and 2.06, but there must have been something that Zhiyun has updated, and whatever they did, it works. So what I would say now, the roll motor, there's no issues on either 2.06 or 2.07. And then let's just talk about one of the most important things, and that is how does the gimbal actually performs from the previous version firmware. And that is always the question, should you upgrade or should you not? So I did some tests with the gimbal. I also doubled the parameters from the auto tune, and as you can see, there's no vibrations at all. No matter what angle I put it in, if I put it down hard, there's nothing. And this is very nicely, because this has been an issue, and I've talked about this before, that these motors will vibrate. So you can easily bump up your motor settings from the auto tune, but again, if you use the auto tune, it works fine, I would say. So if you've already updated to 2.06, I don't see any issues with updating to 2.07. But there's one thing that they haven't updated, and that's still the Vortex mode, where when we put it into Vortex, let me see, here we go. When we turn the handle, the gimbal turns. And I don't understand why they don't fix this, because it is pretty damn annoying. So we have to go back to, I think, 1.96 for this not to happen. So if you're using Vortex a lot, 2.07 is not for you. But let's move on with some of the things that they also updated. The next thing that they updated is they fixed issues that cause manual focus and digital focus to work at the same time when setting digital focus at the handle. I haven't tested this because I never use the follow focus or the digital focus. I use the follow focus sometimes, but the digital focus I never use. I always set my focus manually. I like to do it manually because then I know what my focus point is. So I can't tell you if this is fixed, but if you have had issues with this, please tell me in comments if it is fixed. Let's take the third thing that they have updated. So fixed issues that they caused failure in identification when plugged into a Blackmagic pocket cinema camera that was upgraded to 7.3. And I'm a Panasonic shooter, I don't have a Blackmagic pocket cinema camera, so unfortunately I cannot test this for you. But if you shoot on Blackmagic, please tell me in the comments if it is fixed. And then we have something for the Sony fans here, supports parameters adjustment with Sony ILCE 7RM4, Sony RLCE1 and Sony RLME FX3. I really don't know what they have added, but if you shoot on Sony again, tell me in the comments if this is something that is a good update. And lastly, this is something that's always in there, fix some known issues. And I really didn't have any issues with the 2.06 version other than the Vortex. So whatever they fixed, they didn't do anything wrong. The gimbal works fine. It's super steady still. I like how it performs. So in my opinion, 2.07 is a good firmware. You can easily upgrade to it. Zhiyun, please fix the Vortex mode, because I know there's others out there that really want the Vortex to work like it should.